What's the difference between these two commonly confused words in English? Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to English Right Now. My name is Roy, your British English teacher, and today we're talking about two very different places that often get mixed up. There is something called a bar, or the bar, in both a bar and a pub, which is pretty confusing, but the bar can actually refer to the counter from which the drinks are served. Now, in a pub, they're often made out of wood. In a bar, you could say, I'm going to the bar, or in a pub, you could also say, I'm going to the bar, which is quite confusing. Really, the main confusion between these two words, bar and pub, relates to the actual place, the building. So a bar is commonly found in urban areas, in a city centre or in a town centre. And the main feel of a bar is quite modern, maybe with tiled floors, a lot of chrome. They usually feel quite modern. That's one thing that would define a bar. A pub, on the other hand, is quite often found in more suburban or rural settings, and it's often a place where people from all over the community meet up. Now, the feel of a pub, it feels more traditional. Another main difference between a bar and a pub is the drinks that they serve. Now, bars often in the city centre will focus on things like wine, spirits, and some beers. Not as many beers as a pub, whereas a pub tends to focus on beers. There tends to be a lot of ales, there tends to be a lot of lagers and some cider, and it does also have a selection of some wine, often not as many as you would find in a bar. Bars are often themed, so you can have a sports bar or an 80s bar, a retro bar, a karaoke bar, whereas a pub doesn't usually have those kind of themes. And if we're talking about clientele, the kind of people that go to a pub or a bar, for bars it tends to be younger people. You see quite a few single people, so it has a more youthful crowd, and that's possibly because they're going to the city centre. Mature people also do go to bars in the city centre, but it tends to attract a younger crowd, whereas maybe there's a more mature crowd in the pub. And one key difference as well, often in pubs, you'll find they're quite family friendly. In other words, there'll be a play area for children, so it's more of a family environment than potentially a bar. Now, the owner of a bar would be called the owner or a bar manager, whereas the owner of a pub is called a landlord or a landlady. In bars, you will often find quite loud music, pumping music, to really set the sort of atmosphere, whereas pubs don't tend to play music, not pre-recorded music when you go in. There are sometimes live bands. If you do find a lot of words in English confusing, maybe these two words are two words that you should check out. Maybe they'll help you. Do you know the difference? And what about these two? If either of those are things that you get confused about, check them out, or feel free to drop me a comment below and let me know any other words you would like me to compare.